What's up, guys? It is great to see you again. Please excuse my tiredness. We are up early on this morning to try to get started on my brother's car. Hopefully today we're gonna finish wiring up the fuel pump. He ran the wires, the main wires. I'm just gonna crimp on the connectors and get it connected up correctly. And then we're gonna flush the fuel system. And then we just got some other things to check over. And then hopefully sometime in this video, after we finish buttoning up some loose ends, you'll see us try to put the engine and trans in the car for the final put in. I know we already kind of had the engine in just to kind of test fit some stuff, but this time hopefully it'll be to put it in there for good until we figure out, you know, cross member, some other stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Let's get started. Okay guys, so we had some electrical gremlins this morning. We tore it all apart. I think we got it figured out. Got the starter relay figured out, and then also we have the fuel pump, which is back here, you can't really see it, wired in. And then we kind of flushed some gas out. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to get the car moved back in here, question mark. Probably a better spot to do it. Move the car back in here. Probably got to get it up on jack stands. Then we'll probably start fiddling with the transmission on the engine, I would think. So yeah, let's do that. You grab it like that.
The problem is then we come at a weird angle.
You want me to pump it up a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, but this plate, I gotta back it up.
Good.
Huh? Don't work.
He's gonna make it work.
Can't do anything down here.
What I'm gonna need you to do is find a socket for this balancer.
And test it?
So we can spin it.
Yep.
So you can see, got the transmission bolted up. We've got the torque converter bolted to the flex plate. And that's pretty much it. We had to move the one side header because it was kind of interfering with the spark plug, so kind of jostled that around. And next step is probably to put the starter on, honestly, and then put it.
Same thing.
Okay. Stop.
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 I'm in the back wall. Now we're on the starter almost. We're gonna go straight back.
Set it now. Okay, stop.
We're almost there.
Get your out of the way.
Gotta let the starter down first, I think.
We got a long ways to go on this side.
Yeah.
So we gotta just go down some more.
Okay.
Go back.
I think I'm hitting something. Won't let me go back anymore.
lots of something. Come over here. You just gotta push this off to the side a little bit so you can get on your steering rack.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. Take this. There we go. So it needs to be. I think I should be able to put it down. What we're probably gonna have to do
Just back up the transmission.
put the back on. So we are back. It is a new day today. We got pretty far yesterday. We got the engine and trans in. It is supported by the hoist right now, but everything is in as one, and we got a lot of things that we got to button up, including fixing a stud in the rear end, because if we want to hook up the drive shaft without spinning that, we got to put the new spark plug wires on. So he's kind of working on it right now. We still got to figure out the fittings for the transmission, the trans cooler. They look like inverted flare. We got some, what are they, Russell
Some
fittings?
Russell fittings.
These ones.
Transmission ones don't work.
They don't work. These Russell ones, which we thought would work because everybody online kind of pointed us in this direction. They definitely don't work. It says right here, didn't say this on the website, but this is for a TH350 and 400
So if you need
and a
those,
704R R4. So if anybody's got TH400 and they want those, we'll sell them to you for twice what we bought them for. So yeah, a lot of little things to button up, but hopefully today we can get pretty far. We gotta hook up the starter yet, and go from there. Just another little update. Jake's adding fluid to the transmission. We've got all of the brackets that hold the motor in, the motor mounts, are tight. I'm just finishing up some of the wiring. I got the wiring for the 6AL-2, I think, ignition box to the distributor that's wired up. I gotta crimp on some new ends for this to the coil. I gotta run one lead from the ignition key to the box. Jake's got the carburetor hooked up, the hose on the end. We're gonna leave the fans disconnected, but we do have the trans cooler lines ran. So we're getting closer.
Getting real close.
Okay, so we kind of found out that the starter he got is a little bit different than a regular starter, like the factory starter. What you got to do here is you got to take, there's one big black wire, which is actually the main power source where it gets most of its amp draw from. You take that off from the one side of the starter relay and you put it on the other side, which makes it pretty much hot all the time from the battery. And then you take a little jumper wire that they provide and you go from what used to be the normally open side of that relay where the big wire was from, so this side, and you run it down to a different post, a smaller post on the actual starter, and that trips the starter solenoid. We had some other weird electrical issues, which we think is because of the battery. I pulled the battery out of my Explorer and ended up putting that in there. We're kind of thinking that that will help solve some of our problems. Hoping so anyways. There's really only one other thing I need to do before we fire it, and that is to hook up a 12 volt ignition on to the MSD box. And that should be pretty easy. I'll pull it right off from the same spot where I pulled the fuel pump. So for now, everything seems fine. We're gonna do that. We're gonna try to fire it up. There's some, like before, there's some tiny little leaks that we need to button up, but seemingly it's going pretty good. We've been making pretty good progress.
Ready?
What are you doing with your phone?
Yep.
Bad juju.
Okay.
Bad juju.
Are you ready?
Yeah, try to fire it up. Fire it again. Fire it again. Fire it again.
go.
Yep.
Fire it again. Fire it again.
Spitting out gas.
Yeah, that's all it gets. Let's turn your regulator down a little bit.
Okay.
I have it at 7.5.
Might be too much.
Might be too much.
Bet you got a good feeling about this time now.
Maybe it'll go worse. Okay,
You ready?
yeah, give it a whirl.
Okay.
She ready.
Gotta put the
Let's just say you may do certain. Everyone's got their. And you want to run zoomies out the front of the car.
right out here.
Yeah, that's how loud that was.
You don't want to get her to idle?
We can. Yeah, I guess I always.
Why are you pulling this stuff?
That's a heck of a lot further along than what we were. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, you're darn right. Well, now that we know that we gotta have a good battery. Ready?
You know what really grinds my gears?
I was already started. That was weird. Might have still been spinning.
I think
Let's get it again. Yeah, let it wind back down.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready now? Did you put more in here?
Do you know it's Dennis Sicky?
No, I didn't touch it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious, Clark.
Well, it filled up a bunch.
Oh yeah. No, I didn't touch that at all. Ready?
Are you gonna try to use 2 phones?
No, this is one.
Well guys, I am just on my way home from what I would consider to be a pretty successful day. We hit plenty of roadblocks from having a battery that we thought was good. You know, voltage tested well to finding out that it really didn't have the amperage we would need, to lots of little leaks and this and that. But by the time I left, we had that engine fired. It still wants to be babysat a little bit on the throttle. It doesn't really want to idle. We got some few things to figure out, but it was cool to hear it and to let some smoke fly and get the next chapter going. So on the next video, we'll probably be doing a lot of buttoning up loose ends from little fittings that were loose or some electrical things just tucking away, piecing back together the interior and cleaning it out. And we also need to figure out our trans cross member and then get into shifting through the gears and some stuff like that to move the trans fluid around and buttoning up the rear end. We got to put fluid in and whatnot. So some great videos yet to come, and then hopefully we can get set on the ground and take it for a maiden voyage. But it was cool to hear it run, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.